Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back. So, these aren't videos I really like to make, but stuff like this happens in the transport industry and you need to be made aware of it. I'm not going to put the company out there. This is part one. This is just a general overview of what happened to me and some of the ways you can try to avoid this. Can't 100% avoid it because unfortunately people are scum. Some people are, and you just have to deal with that as you find them in this industry. Transport industry is scoured with scum, and sometimes I give people the chance to make things right, but it may come down to them being called out. So first, what happened was we transported a vehicle from Texas to New Jersey. It was a 1986 Mustang. Wasn't like a total show car. It was a all original. I don't know what they go for, 15, 20,000 maybe on the high end. So it wasn't an over the top expensive car. So no red flags. Just wanted an enclosed shipment. From Texas to New Jersey. Makes sense. So we booked this load with this company who was on Central Dispatch, and we complete the shipment. It is a $1,200 shipment, and it was 2-day pay. So a little low on the rate. Needed to find a spot to fill the trailer. It is what it is. So get the vehicle transported from Texas to New Jersey, and that was in February. So here we are now. It is April 15th as I'm making that. I'm sorry my dog's walking around in the background. He's still a puppy. He doesn't know how to lay down. But anyways, so we are April 15th now. So, what happens? Haven't got paid on this. I get on and look through the instructions in Central Dispatch, like maybe I missed something on how to get paid. Maybe I didn't send it to the right email. They wanted it text or whatever. So I get on there and I do some research. And I found the email, which we had sent it to. Then I found a couple phone numbers and instructions on getting paid. So we followed all those steps, right through as they should have been. So what happens next? Time goes on, time goes on, time goes on. You get busy and you forget till you get back on, your spreadsheet or your QuickBooks or however you keep track of your payments. You're hauling cars, you're busy on the run. It slips your mind. You get home and you go through everything. You're like, crap, I haven't got paid on that. Let me see what's going on. So I hop back on the computer again. Dispatch was text only, so I sent a few texts to that number. I also sent an email to their billing email to try to just get somebody to respond. And every time you call the phone number, it rings and rings and rings and goes to voicemail. So, $1,200 isn't going to kill us, but that's a lot of money. We did our job, so we should be paid for it. So, it comes to today. I decide that I'm going to do a little more research. I have the time. Obviously, I'm at home right now. I have the time. I'm going to do some more research and see what I can find. So I Google this company, and it comes up to an address in a shopping mall. You zoom in on the shopping mall. It looks like it's right where a UPS store is. So I'm like, that's a little weird because their address doesn't have a P.O. box or anything. It's just that shopping center. So they have a website. I hop on their website and I get to contact us and I find a couple different numbers. So I go down to contact us and I find a couple different numbers. One of the numbers I have been calling, one that looks like maybe like their main number is a toll-free number. So I'm like, you know what? I can at least get somebody on the phone. So I call that number. And the gentleman answers. I ask for the gentleman that it said in the dispatch, ask for so or so. I'm not going to put all this out there, but it may eventually come to that in part 2. So what happens is I call them and I'm like, hey, this is my situation. I've got, I'm owed on this transport. Can you look into it because I feel like someone's avoiding me and not paying me. His instant response is, well, I can guarantee you someone's not avoiding you. It must have been something you did wrong. And I'm like, okay. But he's like, well, let me get in the file and see what happened. So he gets in the file, and he's like, well, I see that we had a shipment that didn't go through with you guys, and we had to send one of our own trucks. Like, yeah, that happened. We had a situation where we didn't meet time guidelines, which, yeah, it is our fault, but that has nothing to do with this shipment. So he keeps like trying to like put that in my ear that we had a botched shipment with them. We know that happened. They had to reroute one of their own trucks. Blah blah blah. That's over here. We're worrying about what's over here. That's like if your bank is a lender on your house and your car has trouble, and you're like, I'm not going to pay the bill on my house because my car has trouble. That's the sense of that. So he starts to get a little hostile. I'm like, hey, like, I just want to be paid my $1,200 for this shipment. I understand, it may have cost you money on this botched shipment we did, but that has nothing to do with that one. Let's finish this one. We'll worry about the next one. Pay me my $1,200. If it costs you $600, I'll pay you $600. Like, let's just get it settled. So it gets, kind of hostile even more, and it keeps going to the point where I'm like, what's next? Like, how do I get my money from this guy? So we're on the phone, and it gets pretty heated. We both start yelling back and forth because I'm like, hold up a second. I'm reading through the central paperwork, and I'm like, you're telling me a shipment that happened in March is going to stop me from getting paid on a shipment that happened in February that was supposed to be paid in 2 days. If it was paid in 2 days, there would be no excuse to not pay me because second shipment never happened. So the payment was never sent. So he starts yelling at me. And I'm like, all right, tough guy, who can I talk to next? And then he's like, I'll show you, tough guy. Come down here. I'll give you my address. I'll lay you out in the parking lot. I'm like, dude, this is terrible business. I said, he's like, come bring your broke ass down here and get your money. And I'm like, I'm not broke, but apparently you guys are because you can't pay anybody $1,200. So I end up hanging up on the guy. And I'm like, all right, where do I go from now? I'm obviously having trouble getting my money from them. I'll go after their bond. So I get on. I search their DOT number. Inactive. So I go on their central profile and get their operating authority, put it in, and company snapshot is on the FMCSA website. You can check any carrier, any broker, and it'll give you their information. So keep that in mind in case you have this situation. Put in their operating authority, inactive. So I noticed that they have like 4 different businesses that are surrounding this one business. There's their shipping company, there's a motorsports company, there's an international company, and there's another shipping company where one letter is changed in the name of the company. So I search all of those. I search all their past DOT numbers, all their past operating authorities. Nothing is active. So they shouldn't be on central dispatch, and B, they shouldn't be shipping cars because they don't have an active authority. So therefore, they have no insurance. And they're marketing themselves as an elite luxury shipping company. So I do my research and I come like, this company's a fraud. They're not legal at all. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get my money against their bond because they don't have one. Yeah, maybe I should have done a little more research on this company, but when you're booking cars that fast and you're keeping your truck moving, there was no red flags to begin with that said I should have to do this research. They're on central dispatch. I should assume they have an active authority or they have an active authority and they're bonded like every broker should be or has to be. Every legal broker, that is. So at this point, not really sure what I'm going to do because I put out a post to see if I knew anybody in the area they lived in because I wanted to just get eyes to make sure that what I'm seeing on Google Maps is true. It's like 8 hours away from me. Like, I wanted to make sure that physical address was actually a UPS store. Maybe they didn't have like a little sliver in a shopping center that was a physical office Because I fully plan to like go down there, not being a hard ass, but like just showing up, getting a load down there and going down there and be like, hey, here's the invoice you guys owe me money on. Can you pay this while I'm here? You know, go in civil and just try to get paid. That's all I want to do. So with that being said, I gave the guy a call back and I said, here's a situation. I know you guys aren't legal. I know none of your companies are legal. You shouldn't be on Central Dispatch. I'm not here to take food off of someone's table, but I just want to get my money paid. You pay me my money, I stop there. I don't report you. I don't do anything. And I haven't got a response yet. So that's part one. We'll see what happens on this. This is just my warning to just be careful. And if your $200-300 shipment wouldn't bother me that I'm not going to get paid on, but $1,200 is, you know, my mortgage. And if they're doing that to me, I've seen they have a few other negative ratings on Central that have come through for non-payment. So it's just something to keep an eye out on, and you know, maybe do a little research before you accept a shipment if you have the time, and try to cover all your bases. But with that being said, I'm going to update you guys on part 2. See what happens. If I don't get paid within, I don't know how long, we'll expose the company and just let everybody beware. A, that they don't get burned on not getting paid. B, if you have a car with them or shipped with them, that they damage it and they don't pay for it because they don't have any insurance, as they're, you know, offering luxury white glove single car enclosed transport. I did my research. They're not on Instagram. They're not on YouTube. They're not on, I don't even think they're on Facebook, and it's just their website that they run everything through. So we'll see what happens, guys, but wish me luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.